stuffed mushroom caps. So sometimes I like to use fresh herbs, but I want to flake these off their stems and just get the good stuff. So I'll just heat a little olive oil and fry those up. And already it feels kind of chefy and steakhousey in here. I'll take that out after just a minute or so. Season them with a touch of salt just to let them know that we love them and we're thinking about them. Now, I've also managed not only to fry my thyme so that it's gonna be nice and easy to flake off the stem, but I've flavored my oil with that thyme, which is kind of exciting. So I take my onion, about 1 good onion's worth, and drop that right in that wonderful thyme oil. So right away when I add something to my pan, I pay the salt tax by adding just a touch. That's gonna help draw out the water, and some freshly ground pepper. Now I want to add the garlic. Now you can save yourself the tears and trouble of mincing by just grating the garlic. Okay, so just the foundation of that thyme oil and the onion, and we add that garlic right in there. Look at that, scrape that right off. Stir that in, and we're gonna cook the garlic for about 30 seconds. So to that, I'm just gonna add a tiny bit of personality, half a teaspoon of cumin. Just add that right in, give it a nice stir. But what about the mushrooms? So I'm gonna take a little sour cream and Parmesan cheese and the mushrooms. Now, as a chef, I deal a lot of the time with very expensive, fancy mushrooms. But when I'm at home and I want real meaty, steaky flavor, I go for the white button. It's that secret supermarket weapon, and it's lonely and waiting for you to recognize its fabulousness. Take a nice dry pastry brush and just brush off any dirt from the exterior. You see that? So I'll set aside about 18 mushrooms, and those will be the ones we stuff. And then the rest, which is about 15, we're gonna put in our stuffing. And just slice these. Now these mushrooms are filled with water. So at this point, you really wanna turn the heat up kinda high, and don't be afraid, to draw out the liquid. Now, for my bottoms, I just want to trim the stem off. Why not add those stems right in there? Why waste anything? Now, I'm a big fan of dry vermouth. It just adds this wonderful, almost tang. Just add in a 1/4 cup. Give that a stir. While that's bubbling away and getting fabulous, we're gonna cook our bottoms at the same time. And take about a half a stick of butter. And then add those mushroom tops back in there. So, to bring this all together and give it that nice tang, I'm gonna add a cup of sour cream to that. Oh my God. And you see that these are no longer sliced mushrooms with garlic and onions, but they are a stuffing to end all stuffings that just belong with a steak. Now, let's not forget about our buddy thyme that we crisped up. Because it's been lightly fried in our oil, it just flakes right off. And I have to taste it. I don't really have to taste it, but how can I not? Now the sour cream offers that tang, but it's that wonderful meatiness of the white mushroom that really comes through. How about a little Parmesan cheese? Just adds that natural saltiness to it. I've measured 1/3 cup, but let's face it, I like to call this an Italian 1/3 cup, which means it might get closer to a cup. Okay, so this is definitely more than 1/3 cup. But that's part of the fun of cooking at home. You can do what you want, no one's looking. There's no Parmesan police. Half of this I'm just gonna add straight into my stuffing, and that's gonna help thicken the stuffing and bring it together. And the other half of the Parmesan cheese, I'm gonna mix with 2 tablespoons of toasted breadcrumbs. So I've got a baking sheet, because we're gonna cook these stuffed mushroom caps in the oven. Pour them out. Look at how shiny and glazed and gorgeous they look. Take a nice bit of this stuffing, just pop that right on top. So I'm gonna stuff the rest of these, pop them in the oven at 350 degrees, and cook them just till they kind of go rrr. And they all become one, and then we're gonna cook those mushrooms in the oven, sear that porterhouse in my trusty cast iron skillet, and sit down to an unforgettable meal.